Hey, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, coming to you live from the Green Room. I have another great show planned for your viewing pleasure this evening. Boy, we got a lot to talk about tonight. I'll give you all the latest COVID-19 updates for here in the Chicagoland area in the state of Illinois. We'll talk about a couple of things across the country as well. And then coming up later on in the show tonight, we're going to talk about the importance of mentoring our at-risk youth. Right now, more than ever, a lot of our at-risk youth come from homes that are dysfunctional, homes that are lacking a lot of just the basic necessities, and this probably could be a very troubling time for our at-risk youth. So tonight, my co-host and good friend, Dr. Phillip Montgomery, he's over there in you look like you're in some official, presidential suite or something. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about you?
I'm good. I'm good. Glad to have you here tonight as guest co-host. And
Thank you.
what's new? Tell everybody what's going on in your world.
Just the same old thing like all of your listeners and viewers. I'm trying to manage my anxiety around what's going on with this COVID because, like everyone else, I too am in the house more than not. I think it's okay, but I'm ready to get back out and be part of the world, but it's just not time yet. So I'm finding ways to improve myself while I'm at home.
I am too. I agree with you 100%. I tell people now more than ever, you really do need to figure out all the things that you've not done. And this has really been beneficial to me to go back and look for things, start projects that I had dropped and, reconnect with people. So you're right. It's a great time for that.
It
But
really is.
Philip, the world is opening back up. As you have
Yes.
been hearing on the news like myself, Illinois is probably one of the last states to open back up at this particular time. And so, what do you think? Do you think we're opening up too soon?
I think so. I think we can't, we don't really have a handle on it, I don't feel. But there are other forces out there that are ready for it to be opened back up. And it's very difficult for our elected officials to continue that fight.
Hmm.
So they've picked a baseline that they're willing to operate from. And if they're seeing the number of cases and the number of fatalities at that line, they're willing to do it. I'm concerned, like many of your viewers are, I'm sure, but we will continue to mask up, put our gloves on, keep washing our hands, and definitely social distance. And that's the best weapon that we have right now.
Well, you know what's so interesting is that I had started to debate the whole glove wearing situation, and actually, my Javon Lynn Donegan, my forever co-host, she and I were having this conversation. She was like, "Look, people are doing more cross contamination now than anything," and so I'm starting to see people not wear gloves as much anymore.
Okay.
But here's the deal: we have not been hearing about the wearing the gloves as much as we've heard about continuously wearing a mask. So I wonder if things have changed with that. And then they are saying that a lot of people have been cross contaminating things with the gloves. They go ahead.
Well, I would say there's probably truth in that because, of course, we're not taking the gloves off after we get in the car and throwing them away. We're probably setting them on the seat and putting them back on and going on to our next location and touching it with those same gloves. But I just think, yeah, I could see cross contamination, but I still think we're safer when we're armed to the best of our ability. And as far as I'm concerned right now, that still includes gloves, at least
Yes,
having them available. Even if you
right.
don't want to put them on, have them available for those things that you just know you're going to be uncomfortable handling.
Yes. Well, my running buddy and I, we've created our own sanitation kit that we take with us places. I was very guilty of taking the full size can, the wipes, all of that, because I didn't know, what I was getting into. And so now that the weather's getting better and you want to kind of contain yourself, we put travel size, of everything we need. So when we're out and about and want to clean and do whatever, and then trying to find a public bathroom now
Oh
is
my
just
goodness.
it is ridiculous. So I can only feel for people who are having incontinence problems,
Oh my
people
goodness,
who are
yeah.
frequent bathroom goers. It, going to a bathroom in public now is just not the easiest thing.
No, no. And that's I don't see a big change in that in the near future. And you're right, our friends that are dealing with their own healthcare concerns that do require more regular use of the facilities, that's going to
Hmm.
be very challenging for them during this until we can get a better handle on what it takes to sanitize an area after a person has used it.
Absolutely. Well, I hope that situation gets better. So, to give you guys the latest Illinois COVID-19 numbers, Illinois officials also reported 2,294 new cases of COVID infection, and we had 59 additional deaths as of today. The latest numbers pushed the statewide total of known cases to
Mm,
96,485, with the death count being 4,234 here in the state of Illinois. And we are one of the last few states to, as they said, give up our goodies, open up our doors. We've not done it yet. We're still under, shelter in place. I'm torn about this, Philip. You know what I'm saying? Part of me want to be like, Lord, could we just get out and enjoy ourselves? But then the other part of me is like, I don't know what you got, and if you
right.
sneeze or cough, I'm getting ready to lose my mind.
And an ounce. Uh, the thing that you have to remember is, it's like if we open this gate, how do you close it again? Because
Right.
right now we feel we have found a tool that's working. But if we allow, with the summer, people have been in the houses for 2 and 3 months, the children are out, they're ready to get out. And if we open this gate and we are wrong about this curve flattening, how do we close the door and get everybody back inside the gate again?
Hmm.
Because I think the governor is doing the best he can, following the advice of some very intelligent people who are in the medical profession and listening to what they have to say. He may not necessarily be listening to our chief executive officer, but he is listening to people who I do believe have a handle on what it takes to contain this. I
Hmm.
like the fact that the mayor of our city is also following suit, even though she talks about the fact, for the business leaders, they
Right.
want to hear that we're opening again. They've got to hear it
Hmm.
because you got a
Hmm.
lot of people who are losing every day. But she's still reminding them it's not going to be business as usual. This
That's
is
right.
a new normal.
Right. Right.
A switch has been flipped, and we don't know what it's going to take to flip it back to when you can go to a wedding with 500 people and drink from the same punch bowl.
That's right, which is very true. I was talking to a friend of mine who lives in Las Vegas, and we were talking about the fact that the days of the buffets are
Oh,
probably gone, you guys. You can forget about it. And look, I tell people, when I was a bigger guy, I used to love buffets. When I became smaller, but I still love the grandeur
mm-hmm.
of the buffets in Las Vegas, the
Yeah,
seafood buffets, and so now that will no longer be, and you won't be able to indulge in that type of thing
no.
anymore because of COVID-19. Your favorite Chinese buffet, whatever the case may be, that is all going to change as of now, and it's
And
just something to think about.
there's a lot out there that we're not even beginning to touch on. If you think about even church services, the average baptism, if you're looking at a church that's had the infamous baptism pool where they dip people in the water, I don't know if we're going to be able to go back to that ever.
Right.
There's going to be a lot of things that we're going to have to do differently. And even when you speak of a buffet, or you talk about going to that favorite restaurant that's really popular in the city and standing around the bar waiting for a table, you're not going to be able to pack in and have a drink and wait for your table.
You know what, Philip? That's funny. I had that conversation with somebody Saturday. I said, "Oh my God!" I said, "It's a beautiful day." I said, "You know where we would be?" I said, "We'd be sipping on one of them $15 martinis." I said we'd be waiting on us a table right there on the corner so everybody could see us. And I'm like,
Laughing and talking and having a
"Oh,
good
that's
time.
not gonna happen anymore.
Uh-uh.
That's not gonna happen." And
And,
so, go ahead.
and you're not going to always feel comfortable. I mean, science will help us figure this out, of course, but we're not going to feel comfortable at first just having that man or woman sitting in the chair next to us turning in our face and starting to talk. I mean, you may find yourself doing a backstroke and jumping up from that chair when they start talking to you in the face.
Right.
But, or if they're not masked, or you're going to, like, you know how your grandmother carried the Kleenex, you're going to be carrying an extra mask in a bag so you can hand it out when people start talking. Because it's just,
Mhm.
this is something unlike anything any of us could imagine.
No, no,
People have
no.
been through it who are elders, and I've heard them talk about the plagues that they have been through. But again, living it, um, it far exceeds anything I had ever imagined, because
Right.
this is just horrible. And every time I get up in the morning and I hear about the number of people who've unfortunately succumbed to this, it's heartbreaking.
It really is. And our hearts go out to each and every one of you who, whether you've lost a family member. I will soon be talking to survivors of COVID-19. We've got to come together and have more dialogue to figure out exactly, how did this get started? How did you even feel when you first was diagnosed with this? Because a lot of people say it's a loss of taste and smell. And Philip, look, I keep eating all day long just to make sure I ain't
Me
lost my
too.
taste or smell.
Appetite
I mean, you know
or
what I'm saying? I'm
smell.
like, oh Lord. I hate to say that, but all day I'm like, well, let me taste these potato chips to see what they taste like. And let me. So I mean, I don't. It's just so we'll have to talk to some of the survivors about what they've been through with this to get better clarity.
Because it was fascinating. Today I saw Jazzy Jeff on TV, and he was
Yes.
talking about it, and that was the one comment he made. The distinguished it from regular pneumonia was that loss of smell and taste. And
Right.
like you said, I'm eating salt and sour potato chip, anything I could eat to make sure I could taste it. I'm putting it in my
Right.
mouth.
Right. Right, right. I'm with you on that one, brother. I am. I'm with you 100%.
All right.
All right. Well, this past Saturday evening, our former president, President Barack Obama, celebrated the graduating class of 2020, all the college graduates. And we want to say congratulations to all the college graduates. He told people in his commencement speech, former President Barack Obama told college graduates that the folks in charge don't always know what they're doing, in rare public criticism of the Trump administration on Saturday. Now, here's the
Hmm.
deal. He never has said anything. Now, he didn't mention his name now,
He
but
never
but
mentions his name.
right, but he did let him have a karate chop. You know what I'm
Oh yeah.
saying? So I mean, I feel bad for these graduates. You are graduating in a time of college graduate where you're hoping to get your first job, and the unemployment rate is through the roof. There are
Almost
people,
definitely.
there are still people waiting for financial assistance. There are so many things going on right now. Just to know, and here's the deal: these college students are coming out with debt. It's insurmountable.
They're coming out with debt. I have a goddaughter who just completed her freshman year, and she made a comment, and it's true. She really didn't get the freshman year experience because, of course, this fell right in the middle of it. But
Hmm.
what she is learning is what she knew as being college will never be the same. They won't be able to go back in those dorms with four people in a room.
Right.
Will it be worth the investment when you start looking at what these new jobs are going to look like? Because you've got some people used to go right to the hotel for a management job after they finish. You go to one of the big chains, you apply, you've got a college degree. That's your first leadership role. It gives you some experience. Are those places going to be taking as many of our college graduates? Is it going to be worth it to go? Who is going to help them pay this debt? I wonder what our government's going to wind up doing about that.
Because now they're talking about another stimulus check. And, I said this when we first started this show. Canada was giving their citizens and residents a stimulus check monthly, where, really the stimulus check here, I'm sure for a lot of people it was nice to get it. A lot of
Mm-hmm.
people have still not have gotten them yet or whatever. But I hear more and more people saying, oh, I got my stimulus check. But really, with the downturn of this economy being the way it is, people probably will never be able to get back on their feet right away. And we're talking about even high end people, you know?
When you look at some of the major retailers, especially the ones where those people worked on commission and they earn hefty commissions. You may have had some where the people were making $250,000 a year on commission, depending on what they were selling. And they had, that's the way they live. That, you spend what you make. And here we are, those jobs won't come back. You're not going to have that many
Right.
commission salespeople.
No.
Their mortgages are going to suffer. $1,200 is great. I mean, I appreciate it. It's wonderful. But like Canada, we probably need to be a bit more aggressive and see other ways that we can help shore up our economy. Our president is always concerned that if we don't reopen, that's the problem. But even if we reopen, people have to have some money to spend.
That's
And
right.
many of these people are not going to be able to go right back to what they were doing because what's behind? The rent's behind, the light bill's behind, the gas bill's behind. They owe their mothers, their friends, whoever had some money to help them buy food for their 2 or 3 children and themselves. So it's not just simply opening up the economy.
Hmm.
It's how do we replace a segment of jobs that just simply won't be coming back, not right away, not for a year
No.
or so.
Yes, absolutely. I agree with you 100% on that. With that being said, we want to encourage you guys as much as possible to do the right things, help each other, help your fellow man. Please, if you can donate to a food pantry, that would always be a great idea to do, no matter where you
Yes.
are in the country, no matter where you are in the world. Donating to a food pantry would be the right thing. If you know somebody might be down and out and need a few dollars, do whatever you can to try to spread the wealth, share the love, and help each other by giving people a love offering. It'll come back to you. I'm a firm believer in that. And then, most importantly, take care of your health, you guys. Take care of your
Yes.
health. Do the right things. Philip and I were jokingly saying that we have to keep eating to make sure we're not losing our taste and smell. But I do put some lettuce in there. I do put some vitamins in
Right.
there. I
Right.
do put a smoothie in there, and so I
Yes.
put some fiber in there. So
Yes.
just have to do those type of things. What else should we know, Philip?
I think we also definitely to keep up, to keep ourselves from not just being victims of how terrible this is every day. I think you have to do some exercise around the house. You have to do some things that kind of get you going, get your blood pumping and get you moving and have you thinking about some positive things for yourself because that's part of your self-care. You've got to kind of
Hmm.
look out for that as you're helping everyone else. You've got to help yourself too.
Right. It's important that you guys do the right things to keep yourself sane,
Hmm.
fit, fed, do all that, and then find some other things to do. Well, Philip, we were talking about the fact that this economy is just really bad right now. There are so many people unemployed right now. Well, our good friends at Uber announced that they're cutting 3,000 more jobs less than 2 weeks after the initial round of layoffs. And this was confirmed by CNBC. In an email to employees, the CEO said they would be shuttering about 45 offices around the world
Mm,
and considering cuts of other businesses, including freight. I didn't even know Uber did
I
freight.
didn't either.
Well, I know they have helicopter service.
Hmm.
I know they have, limousine, black cars, things like that, but I didn't know that Uber did freight. I guess that's interesting. Like if you need somebody to come move, quite a bit of stuff, I
They'll
guess
do it for you.
they'll do it for you. But
You're
yes,
right.
and so this new round of cuts will leave Uber with about 20,000 employees.
Mm.
And I don't know. What do you think about that? Because that is this last round will take effect on. This was first one was May 6th, and that hit 3,700 people, which was 14% of their workforce then.
It's just another sad part of what we're dealing with. You've got a lot of people now working from home,
Hmm.
and many companies have probably discovered that that's going to be the way it goes in the future because there's no way that they can make social distance in some of these office places.
Hmm.
And if you were like me and you were working downtown, you called Uber to take you to work. It was just
Right.
as expensive as if you were going to drive and park, and it was convenient, and you didn't have to be around too many people. You could get your thoughts together. But if we're not leaving the house and we're not doing a lot of those social things where you go out at night, go to a club, perfect. Uber, you don't have to drive your car. If you have
Mm,
a little bit and you're overserved, you're comfortable that somebody who's not been drinking is driving you home. We're not doing much of that. So
no.
I hate to say it again, going back to like retail and some of the other areas, that's going to be another area that's really going to suffer, and it's going to affect a lot of homes because a lot of our homes with single parents are led by people who are part of that industry.
Right. And they were just saying today when the governor was having his press conference, Governor J.B. Pritzker, that with him opening up the next stage, that actually, schools would not be included until the final stage.
Mhm.
What about daycare and pre-care, infant care centers for people that would have to go back to work in stage three? What would they do about their children? And it just begs a lot of questions about, will people be able to afford child care, all of that, once this is back in the beginning.
I think that's going to be a question down the road, but I think the initial solution is going to be for a number, not for maybe not for everybody, but for a large number, the ones who have positions where they can do their job from home. I think
Hmm.
they will be at home. I think their struggle is going to be they hadn't ever spent that much time around their own children. So
Right.
now they're getting ready to have to do that.
Yeah.
But I think that that's what you're going to see more of in the near future, probably till the end of the year. I would say
Hmm.
the combination of will the young people be going back to traditional colleges or will it be virtual college for this first fall semester?
Hmm.
How many days will my child go to public elementary school and how many days will your child go? Because I don't think all the kids will be going 5 days a week. I don't think that's going to
No.
be possible with social
No.
distancing.
Right. Right.
So there's a lot that we have that's yet to unfurl because we don't know what it's going to take to keep people safe. And what I like again about the leadership in this state is they're not just bowing down to what they're hearing the president say. They're really relying on the research from the medical people who know more about infectious disease than our current president or most of us will ever know.
Yes, and the one thing that I have to give our state credit for is every one of the experts they brought in have all had foreign accents, just wonderful foreign accents.
Yes,
And
yes,
and I just always feel like if you're gonna tell me some bad news, please tell it to me in a wonderful foreign accent.
right,
Or if you're gonna give me some facts and figures, tell it to me in a wonderful foreign accent.
exactly,
And that
exactly.
way I'm always like, oh, it's not so bad.
Bad.
So yes, that's what I think about that. But yeah, kudos to our governor and kudos to our mayor. Great job of handling this. We just are ready to get out and be safe and do the right
And
things.
just
But I
and
don't know
just
if it's all gonna work.
they don't either. And imagine you've got two people. They weren't career politicians before they came in. They had totally different careers before they
True.
stepped
Very
into
true.
the political arena. And
Hmm.
to step and this is your first entree into something political, and this is what you have to try to juggle. They're
Hmm.
doing an amazing job.
Right, right. They are. All right. So let's move on. We were talking about Uber losing jobs over the weekend. United Airlines announced that they only need about 3,000 flight attendants, and they currently have 25,000 flight attendants on the payroll. So the way I look at this, Philip, this is a case of eeny, meeny, miny, mo.
Almost
And
definitely.
and here's the other piece. I am hearing that flight attendants with 25 years of seniority would probably be included in this massive layoff. So imagine you've been someplace 25 years and you're getting ready to get laid off as a result of COVID-19. That right there is just a lot.
And imagine what you're losing: your health insurance, an income that may not just take care of your household, but another household. Um, Probably the person who's working as a flight attendant, their job helps to facilitate travel for some of the other people in their family who need it. Again, though, but here we are. Are you going to be the one that's going to get on that 777 flying, across the ocean? Are you going to be the one, and it's packed, where there's not that middle seat is the one that you're hoping is still available so you can squeeze into it. um, the change we until we figure out a way to safely navigate these sorts of situations with COVID, there's a lot of things that I just don't think people will do as freely as they had once done. And I think traveling in a packed airplane is one of the first things they're going to stop doing, because you already catch a cold 50% of the time when you take a plane because of the air recirculating.
Right.
So it's going to be a struggle, and I think it's up to our industrialists, the people who own the airlines, to figure out with the doctors a good way to safely get people on and off planes from one destination to the next, and then we'll have more flight attendants who can, thank God, will be able to come back, or new ones who will be able to pick up jobs, and that'll be a new career for some people.
hmm Well, back in the day when I was a flight attendant, we used to collect the trash with gloves on. And I mean, we're talking about years ago that we would collect the trash. I can now see where airlines will probably be cutting back on beverage service,
Oh
meal
yeah,
service,
I forgot all about
all
that. Yeah,
of that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, even on international flights, they probably gonna make it now where you have to probably bring your own
a,
stuff. They probably
a
gonna have
brown bag.
right. They're gonna have garbage receptacles sitting in the middle of the plane. I mean, because now you're gonna have flight attendants that are fearful, even with gloves on. Do I want to take this from this person? And again, like you said, it's circulated air and all of that. So I don't know. They were saying that even also what you're gonna pay to fly is gonna be like just so absorbently crazy that it's not even, it's almost gonna be like a luxury to fly someplace now.
It's going to go back to the way it was in the 70s, so that there were only certain people who flew. And for a while, that's what you're going to see. Because when I think of you talking about the flight attendants, I can see them having the people in the class that would be called economy class with no flight attendant service whatsoever. Maybe a couple who watch, but no back and forth, like you said, no beverage service. And then maybe the only people being served would be the people who are in first class. And
Mhm.
I think that the cost to get on those planes, I just don't think we're ready for what's going to happen in the months to come. I think we've been through a heck of a lot and still going through a lot, but
Right.
there's still other side things that are going to start showing up.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to take a little pause for the cause right here. We just want to thank all of you guys for joining us. Welcome to the Monday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, coming to you live right here via Facebook. You can join us on the Real Chat Daddy Show page, Art Chat Daddy Sims page, or Art Sims if you're already a friend or a follower. You can also follow this show on YouTube. If you go to YouTube, go to the Real Chat Daddy Show on YouTube. I need for you guys to do me a huge favor. Subscribe to my YouTube page. The more you guys help me out by subscribing to the page, the more it helps with this show to be produced, better and more quality, and continue this show that you're enjoying each and every night. Phillip Montgomery is our co-host tonight. And Phillip, in just a little bit, we're going to have a conversation about our at-risk youth. Why don't you
Sure.
give us a little taste of what we're going to be talking about?
I want to talk a little bit about our role with our youth, and what are we doing? How are we engaging with them, and why is that significant?
I love it. I do. I really do. And then later on in the show, well, he actually is going to join us in just a little bit, but later on in the show, our good friend, Mr. Dwayne Bryant, he's going to talk to us tonight about e-learning. E-learning is getting ready to be the wave of the future, as Philip so eloquently said earlier when he was talking about everybody going back to school in the fall. You will not be going back to school the traditional normal way that you remember. A lot of it
Mhm.
will be online. And so tonight we're going to talk about really enticing and educational programming that's all online. And Dwayne Bryant is a gentleman who creates that type of programming. He is the man.
All
He is.
right.
So I'm looking forward to talking to him
Me
in just a
too.
little bit. Today, Hollywood came to Chicago. Famed actor and humanitarian Sean Penn was in Chicago today uh, for his humanitarian organization, CORE, volunteering his time and resources to help with COVID-19 testing. And he joined our mayor down at the Bean and, had this wonderful press conference. And guess who hooked them up? You know who hooked Sean Penn up with our mayor in this
N-
wonderful program?
No, who hooked him up?
Reverend Jesse Jackson Sr. over at
Oh, really?
Operation Push. Yes, he
Oh,
did.
wow.
Look, he friends with Sean
I
Penn. Right,
see.
right.
Wow.
Yes, Reverend Jackson is friends with Sean Penn. So
My
who
goodness.
knew? Yes, who knew? Yes. So
He
that's how
does get
that happened.
around, doesn't he? He is something.
Yeah, yes. Well, he is Reverend Jackson. I mean,
Yes,
that's what we love about him. So congratulations
definitely.
on that. And for residents of the South Side of Chicago, residents of the South Side, let me hear you, South Side.
South Side.
Southside, Southside. You can go get free COVID testing. The free COVID testing is being done over at the movie theater on 87th Street at the Studio Movie Grill parking lot. It is free for you to go get tested. You must take your photo ID. The tests are free, and 800 have been tested since they opened last week.
Oh,
And
good.
so, if you guys are curious, you want to know, go over there and get that free testing. You got to be in the car. You got to drive up. Y'all cannot be walking up.
It's a
Y'all cannot be riding your bike up. You can't do any of that. You got to be in a car. So if that's the case, safe. What are they? Safe distance
yes,
and get in the car and go get tested.
right.
How about that? How about that? Yes. All right, Philip. What else we need to talk about?
Well, we definitely want to talk about what's been going on with all the rain in the city of Chicago. And
Ooh, Lord Jesus, 40 days and 40 nights.
I was gonna say we better get that arc out that we've heard tell
Do you
of
understand me? 40 days, 40 nights.
because
Yes.
it rained something for the last what 12 hours. I
Yes.
mean, people. I heard from a lot of people, especially people out like right outside of the city, off that
Mm-hmm.
Des Plaines River, that they were dealing with all kinds of flooding. The river levels had risen to higher than they've been in a long time. We
Mm-hmm.
got more inches of rain in 2 weeks than we
Mm-hmm.
typically get in 2 months. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, that's got to impact a lot of folk. And on top of being at home and struggling with being employed, that doesn't help either.
Right, right. Well, all I know is it downtown Lower Wacker Drive got flooded last night.
I heard.
River City, the office and apartment complex, they were flooded last night. To my understanding, there was water up to the roof of the garage level, which is an underground garage,
My
and they don't
goodness.
and they don't have any electricity down there. So yeah, the water yesterday was quite bad, and quite a few people on social media was reporting that their basements were flooding,
Mm,
last night, and they were showing footage of it on social media. So we just want to remind you guys that if your basement has flooded, make sure you take pictures, videos. Do not go down there in that water
no,
because electricity. You also don't know what's in that water,
no,
and you call your insurance company. And the way I look at it, some kind of assistance is going to have to be given to these people. We are in the midst of a pandemic and now a flood. Lord have
right.
mercy. What
I
else?
mean,
What else could
Mother
happen?
Nature, this is Mother
Right,
Nature. And just like the
right.
pandemic, you can't control either one of them.
Right, absolutely. This is just crazy of how things are just really, happening for us like this. You just don't know. So I love these comments tonight. We want to thank all of you guys for joining us. The numbers are picking up each and every night. You guys are making us the most happiest. You really are. This is the Real Chat Daddy Show. Don't forget you can view it via Facebook Monday through Thursday night from 7 until 8:30 p.m. 90 minutes of getting your life in order, giving you the top news story, a little laughter here and there. But most importantly, we want to share life changing information each and every night on the show. I just want to say thank you to everybody who's watching on all the various Facebook pages. You guys really rock. Thank you to all of our guests last week on the show. We had a wonderful show. Last week, Javonda Lynn and I hung out. And then who else? I got to go back and figure out who all the people were, and I'll acknowledge them in just a little bit. Philip, what else we got going on?
Well, you started this up. We need to talk about our presidents, Obama and his dig at the current president, and
Yeah, I
his
know.
graduation speech. That
Mm,
he is he will always be my favorite president. I think President Obama. a brilliant man,
He is. He
and the
really is.
way that he got his point across. We won't call it a dig because that would be probably be beneath the president. But let's say that
Uh,
he made a point, and I thought that he did it in a classy way. But he definitely let our current president know that he was kind of falling behind on the job that he has been voted to do. And
okay.
he's one of the only people that I think could pull that off, and I enjoyed it.
Yes, yes, absolutely. Did a great job. People are saying Obama for president forever.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so interesting. Obama for president forever. That is hilarious. All right. Anything else in hot topics and gossip before we go into your presentation tonight?
No, it's about all I can remember. Did we talk about the unfortunate passing of Fred Willard?
Oh, we did not. Absolutely. Actor and comedian Fred Willard passed away at the age of, was it 89? Let me
86, I think. I think it was 86. I could be wrong.
hold on, let me look in my script here. But yeah, I can't believe that. Fred, whenever you saw Fred in a movie, you automatically knew that the movie was going to be hilarious. You automatically knew that Fred was going to be a mess, and he will truly be missed. And I'm trying to think. My favorite character of his would have to be Everybody Loves Raymond.
Oh, definitely. But
You
he
know?
was really good in Modern Family too. He was just one of those comedians where it was so natural that it wasn't like he was an independent actor. Wherever you put him in, he definitely made it on an ensemble, and
Mm,
he knew how to deliver a line. He knew when to do it, when not to do it. He knew how to make us laugh, and he will be missed because he'd been in
yes, it
a
will.
lot of stuff, over 1,000 TV parts. That's a lot of acting over the years.
It is. It is. It is. So Fred will greatly be missed. You're right, Philip. It was at the age of 86, and we're losing a lot of our iconic legends.
We
That's
really are.
I guess it's just a sign of the times. And then anytime somebody dies around this time, we all think it's COVID related. So family members are so quick to say, "Hey, listen,
Right,
uh,
right.
so and so died of liver cancer, or they died of
Exactly.
whatever it is, just so it's not COVID related."
Because
So
when Ben Stiller passed, I think he was 91. His son made a point of saying, it was natural causes at
right,
91. But again, another comedic great gone. I mean, the
right.
people that helped us through some of these
Mm.
difficult times are now leaving us.
Yes, absolutely. All right. All right. So great job on gossip, entertainment, and hot topics. Are you enjoying yourself so far?
I am.
Good. You're doing a great job. We're having a lot of fun here, but we do want to shift gears just a little bit. We
Okay.
now want to go into talking about, hold on a second. Wait a minute. I got something going on here. I don't know who this is. Oh, is this somebody he invited? Oh, no. Okay. I don't know who that was that done popped in. Wrong thing. That's scary. All right, let's continue on with the show. As you guys all know, this global pandemic has taken a huge toll on a lot of our financial resources. It has changed the world in which we live in and how we operate. And so tonight we're going to talk about a population that is oftentimes very underserved. I have a few numbers here that I kind of want to read to you guys that would probably be very shocking to you. Philip brought this conversation up to me, and I thought, wow, what a great idea to talk about this. This is analyzed data from the 2008 census. This was a study by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services that found household income dramatically impact our youth outcome, and
Hmm.
that most of our low income families, the children oftentimes come from teenage parents or parents that weren't ready to become parents. Their financial outlook is never any more than $2,000 or $3,000. They consider themselves hood rich when it's
Hmm.
that amount of money. Education has always been lacking in this. And so we are now going to see more and more at risk youth as a result of COVID 19. Because here's the deal, where there are some young people who have been at home really learning and studying, you have some youth that's just been kind of blowing through it, and socially they may not be adapt enough to continue when they do come back to that classroom situation. So we want to talk about how do we best help our at-risk youth, right?
We do, and I think a way to really put that is the youth that were at risk before COVID. At least a percentage of them would attend a traditional school. That would give them some place to go, a group of people who expect to see them, attendance. We when we were kids, we hate the thought of taking attendance, but what it really does is it lets the people in charge know, is John here today? Is Shirley here today? So that we know that there's someplace where they're safe and they're not just out there on the street. It also provides, to be honest, many of our schools are providing 3 meals a day. I've
Yes.
talked to some of my friends who are still in education, and they talk about through this pandemic going in and making sure homework packets are put together because not every family has a computer. Making sure that the money that is available, the resources that are available that were used for the breakfasts, some of that money is still being channeled back to those families when they can come and pick up a bag that might have some food in it for the kids to eat. What's happening now is unfortunately a lot of these young people that would have been at risk are even more at risk because there's nobody expecting to see them every day. They're
Hmm.
supposed to sign in on a computer, yes, but is it happening and how is it happening? Who's supervising it? So there's just a lot of struggle out there as a result of this pandemic, and we're
Hmm.
more at risk of losing even more of these young people to the challenges of community-based trauma. A lot of
Hmm.
these young people are left to the street, and that is not a supportive mentor for anybody. It
No.
can show you how to navigate, but maybe not in the healthiest way. And what I'd like to see, and what I try to do, I'll speak for myself. What I try to do is I try to give young people a positive word of encouragement. I don't need to know them. I don't. Most times I don't. But if you
Hmm.
see somebody doing something in the grocery store and you go and they've done a good job doing something, oh, thanks a lot. How's your day going? How are you? Something that shows interest, because what I think we're not realizing is that in many ways we are that mentor every day for some of these young people. It could be the lady across the street who waves or points at them to tell them to tie their shoe. It could be the man who works in the corner store who stands there while they pull the change out and sells them the candy before they go to school. He knows they don't need it, but he knows that it's better that they spend the money on the candy there than possibly do something else with it. So a lot of
Hmm.
people that come into the lives of our children who may not have both parents available for whatever reason, these are the
Hmm.
people that are oftentimes mentoring our youth. And we have to try to help build a positive relationship between youth and the community, especially at a time like this. Not just the church, but the postman who says hello when the young people take the mail from the postman, the person that gives them access to a community center or tells them about something so that they can not be hanging out at night, but maybe go someplace and learn how to bowl or learn how to do something else, learn how to play an instrument. So there's a lot of talent out there, but unfortunately, there's not enough mentors to go around. And they don't need to be formal mentors. They just need to be people who are willing to step in and make a positive difference in the life of a young person.
You know what, Philip? I would have to agree with you 100% on everything that you said. And you're absolutely right. But then I also have to play the devil's advocate in this as well, too, and
Mm-hmm.
say that, we also live in a world where a lot of people are opportunists. We're
Mm-hmm.
also in a world where people will victimize our young people. We're in a world where a lot of our young people are just so disrespectful towards anybody that would show them any love or authority, or trying to teach them something, that I think that so many of us have just thrown our hands up and said, you know what? I know from the educator's point of view, listen, I'm here to
Mm-hmm.
give you as much as I can. I'm gonna try to pour as much knowledge into you, but a lot of this behavior from the home level, I think it has been the deterrent of a lot of these young people as well too.
Oh, definitely. And I think a lot of struggles with undiagnosed mental illness is part of what the problem is on the level of the young person and the level of the parent. I think a lot of our parents or parents of this generation were poorly parented themselves. And you're right. I mean, trusting, building a rapport with someone is difficult, especially for a child. And I always believe that the young people should take the tools given to them by their elders and use them along with the information from those elders that they trust to make these healthy decisions. Sometimes you do need to tell grandma. The teacher has been telling me about joining soccer, but I haven't wanted to do it, and see what grandma says about it. Sometimes when you're at church, if you know somebody who you have respected and your family respects, see if you can tell them about something that you're interested in. If they know of some place where maybe you can play volleyball, we've got to
Mhm.
find healthy ways to engage. But you're absolutely right. They definitely have to be done under the watchful eye or the supervision of a
Mhm.
known entity. It has to be someone that you and your family already know has been vetted, and you're
Right.
comfortable with the advice that they give you.
I agree with you on that. I really do. Philip, I want to bring in our next guest. He is a gentleman who I appreciate talking to him quite a bit. He's always on point. He actually is our speaker for later on this evening to talk about e-learning. But I think the conversation that we need to have is as Black men and us, rising to the level of where we are in success. But I know doggone well none of us grew up with a silver spoon in our mouth. I know none of us, we all had inadequacies. We all could have been less than, but we really are achieving and doing the right things. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome to the show my good friend, Mr. Dwayne Bryant. He is the founder and president of Inner Vision International Inc. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Chat that.
Oh, I love it. That's the way he does it every time he
All
speaks.
right. All
Hey,
Hey,
right.
brother,
hey,
how you doing?
don't think just because I'm in Florida, I'm gonna change that right there. No, sir.
Oh,
Mm, I do. You are amazing, Dwayne. At 8 o'clock, we're going to talk to you more about your career and all of this e-learning.
Okay.
What I want you and Philip and myself to talk about is the fact that we are all Black men who were not born with a silver spoon in our mouths. We could have easily been at-risk youth. Gentlemen, what kept you from wanting to be an at-risk youth? Despite whatever you've been through, you succeeded. Yes, sir.
Time out. We were at risk youth. The difference is we made different decisions than the ones who may have a different outcome in life. But most African American males in America are at risk youth.
oh yes,
Mhm.
definitely, definitely. Even if they appear to come from circumstances where they've had opportunities, they're still at risk because it's easy for them to become victims of other groups of people, even when they are more affluent. So I definitely agree. Most African American males are at risk, definitely.
And that's so sad that we're looked at as at risk males when any of us are, to me, born with the God given gift and talent to be phenomenal. I think it's the society in which we live in that has put so many barriers and borders around us that they don't allow us to really grow and flourish and be who we need to be. So, I don't know. I'm just thankful that I know great Black men that want to succeed in this world because I know we all grew up in really hard and crazy times. Correct, Dwayne?
Listen, it's absolutely correct. Single parent mom, 6 kids, got put out of elementary school, used to fight, didn't care much about academics and education, but it wasn't until my eighth, ninth grade teacher, Miss Barbara Bay, taught world history from an Afrocentric perspective. And I remember saying, Miss Bay, are you telling me that Black people were more than slaves? And she said, boy, I'm going to tell you more than that. I'm going to take you back 100,000 years instead of just the 16, 19. And once I made that connection with who I was, the game has been over ever since.
Right.
Wow, that's so interesting. Philip, do you remember your turning point in life?
I do too, and it was a teacher, and that teacher happened to be my mother. She taught African American history in a high school setting, but she also taught it every day at home. So a lot of things that, we would see on the news, my mother would quickly point out, that that's not the truth. And then she would show me the truth or tell me what the truth, or she'd tell me where to find the truth. And this is before Google and all this stuff. So, I mean, she had to go get a book. We went to the library.
Yeah.
We would look for stuff. She would know where to find it, but she would task me to find it, so that not only would I find what I was looking for, but I would find some other things about our history. So it was always that quest to find out the truth for me was the thing that pointed me in the right direction. So as I got older, you couldn't tell me that there were things that Black people couldn't do.
Right.
I knew that as a man, I might need to get a degree or I might need to pass a test, but as long as I could meet those marks, I'm going to do it, and I can do it.
Interesting, gentlemen. If you had to turn back the hands of time on your life right now, is there anything that you would have done differently? And I'm gonna start with you, Phillip.
I probably would have started the journey for my PhD a lot earlier. Because I probably would have wanted to spend more time working in organizations, helping fix the system. Because I think the problem that we're struggling with is the information that's fed into the system is messed up. So the outcome is messed up. And I'd like to be the person who was there, who was helping to provide more accurate information so that we could have better outcomes for our people in corporate America.
I agree. I think that is really crucial. That you're right. Just the presence, the forefront, just all of that. So yeah, good job on that. Very good. DB, I'm gonna come to you, my friend. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do differently?
Yes, there are two things I would have done differently. I would have stayed in the South Loop of Chicago and bought that property at 1142 South Michigan Avenue. Instead of saying, I got to be with my people. So I'm going to move to the south side of Chicago.
I know.
Very different on the south side than in the South Loop. But,
But now, wait, Dwayne. Wait. So we can clear this up so people know you are not originally from Chicago to begin with.
Correct. I am from Eatonville, Florida, the oldest Black incorporated town in North America, 1871. All Black town, Black gas station, Black stores, Black police department. Black people said, hello, how are you? And then I came to Chicago.
and that's what I'm talking about. That's right. So listen, that's a whole nother show in itself.
I was gonna say, I don't know how to take that one, because that is a different show.
Look, let's do that show later down the road. I get that. All right. So what else would you change differently?
Let's see. What else would I change? You know what? I think one thing I may change is, instead of focusing on my career so much like this, I might have opened up space and allowed her into my life to help build with. Now I'm turning 50 this week. And as old fellas, man, when we get stuck in our own ways, our patience is short, our tolerance is short, our time is short. So now it's like, I don't even know what I'm going to do now. I'm going to have to rock it by myself to the end.
Well, first of all, happy birthday, my friend.
Yeah, happy birthday.
Thank you.
But now that is hilarious. Well, see, here's the way I look at it. I'm in the 50 club. Find yourself a trustworthy, good playmate. That's all.
Right.
That's good. Just find yourself a trustworthy, clean, safe, good playmate, and call it a day. And look, go get COVID tested, STD tested, do all of that, and just live your best life. Live your best life.
You didn't say that about the STD test. You said the COVID test.
No, you said both.
And STD. Look, go and have it all checked from the rooter to the tutor. Yeah, go get it all checked. That's what you do. So interesting.
In terms of career, though, honestly, there's nothing I would change, because when I came straight out of college, I worked for Johnson & Johnson in sales. I started in Miami, got promoted to Detroit, promoted to St. Louis, promoted to Chicago. Love my corporate career. asked God, what is my purpose in life? He said, I want you in the schools with the young people. So literally at 27 years old, I resigned from J&J, making about $105,000 to pursue this calling that God gave me. The first year and a half, I was straight up broke, but I didn't doubt God. And I just said, I remember one day I was walking down Michigan Avenue and I was angry because I had given up my company car, my corporate expense account. I was working at Corliss High School, my first mentoring program. I had to catch the bus, the number 3, and the train to get down there. I wasn't making no money. Chicago Public School at that time was ridiculous. They'd have you working for 6 months and would not even pay you. And then it got to the point, I'm like, you know what, I ain't coming back here tomorrow. And the kid's like, Mr. Bryant, I can't believe you ain't gonna show up. I'm like, they're not paying me. They're like, well, that's not, we don't have nothing to do with that, but we need you here. And that's when I really began to understand that this is what God put me on this planet to do. And for 23 years strong, over 50,000 students later, still doing this work, absolutely know this is what I'm supposed to do. But now COVID has taught me that instead of being in just 6 or 7 school districts, I can be in 6,000 school districts on the same day at the same time. So,
all right, well, listen. So coming up in just a few minutes, Dwayne is going to talk to us about the impact of e-learning. It is the new wave of the future. It's going to be the way that, if you're a motivational speaker, professor, whatever the case may be, you got to get on this bandwagon and learn what it's all about. I'm excited. So Dwayne, just hold on there. That's a great way to segue into you coming up in just a little bit. Phillip, you okay? Anything you want to say before we shift gears?
I'm good. I'm great. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'll wait. Go ahead.
Go ahead. What was you going to say? Go ahead.
I was going to say what Phillip was saying earlier, though, about that population of at-risk youth. That's real serious because even in this pandemic, people are not really engaging them well. They're disconnected. Some of them don't have the computers. Some of them don't have the internet wherewithal. Some of them may be homeless or near homeless. So that's a population that I honestly believe, because we're in such emergency crisis, that people aren't even thinking about them. And that is going to end up costing America. The social impact of not thinking about them is going to cost us later on.
And I'll take it further than that. It's not even not thinking of it. I don't even think they see them. And when you've got a population of young people where I can say they're not safely domiciled, they are surfing from couch to couch. Some of the friends' mothers know who they are. Some don't. Some they pass through. Some they just sleep or hang out wherever they can. But they are not seen. And when you're living in a city like Chicago, in a situation like this, and nobody sees you, what are your chances?
And so those are the real at-risk students.
Yes. Yes.
Well,
And we
gentlemen,
really need to,
go ahead. Finish.
we really need to reach out to our communities and see what we can do to help that group of people.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, now, what can I do as the everyday regular person right now? So you said encourage a young person. You said teach them something. Give me 3 things that we should all be doing to try to help our at-risk youth at this point.
I think that you probably had some people approach you on your website or on Facebook, or young people who are interested in getting into broadcasting. I think you could tell them a little bit about it, tell them how you got your start, give them some ideas on where they can look for resources. I think you've got some people that you have been exposed to, again, through your various platforms, who are looking for opportunities as far as needs with Americans with Disabilities Act. They may have grandparents that are struggling. They may need some advice. They may need some direction. I think a lot of our young people yell out for what they need. It's just, do they have any person around them who's reliable, who they can talk to? I mean, even if you tell somebody something as simple as, how to do their grocery shopping. You say your mother has given you the card with the benefit on it. Let me tell you how I go to the store. And it doesn't have to be anything where you take them. It could just be a conversation that you have with them to educate them. The miseducation of our youth is where the problem comes from.
I love it. I do. DB, anything else you want to add to that before we get into your presentation?
Sure. I would say everything Brother Phillip said is absolutely spot on. And I think, The scary part is the danger of the unknown. So because everyone is like, you got to wear masks, you have to be, quarantined. It is very difficult right now to reach out to those students to talk about going to the grocery store and things of that nature, because most people, if they have children right now, it's just like reality is they're really concerned about themselves. So how do you reach that at-risk population? I still think many of them still have a cellular device. Many of them still have a phone if they don't have laptops and iPads and things of that nature. So it may have to be, well, two things. They have to decide that they're going to be active in their own personal life and their own personal growth as well. Because the reality is, you can come to me all day long and I don't give up about whatever. Then you can come, you can say, here's some food, here's some groceries. If I don't give up, then I don't give up. So they have to also be active in their life and saying, okay, there's a global reset. Things are not well right now, but I need to also be able to seek the help, make the plan, set the goals, manage my time, resolve conflict, make sure I'm not getting involved in drama, because this time they can still make themselves or break themselves. So it's a two-way street though, Art. If you come to me and you try to give me food and I got my hands like this, or like this, that means I'm not going to be able to open up and accept what you're trying to give me. So what I have to do is be open to receive the help that you're trying to give me. Then it can be a reciprocal relationship, because at this day and time, nobody has the time to force you to do what's right for you.
But do you think that at this time, with there's so much fear out there, do you think that it's more likely, because I'm hopeful that it's more likely that people will be receptive to people who are trying to help them now, because everything is so up in the air and so unknown, that if somebody is genuinely, if you can discern that, of course, if somebody is genuinely trying to assist, you will take that support so that you can try to, like you said, plan, get some goals together, and use your time wisely so that you'll be prepared when all of this kind of settles down.
Yeah, no, I think what you're saying is hopefully, and I honestly believe with this time of COVID-19, I do believe people are being real reflective. People are really thinking, but it also depends. If you have food that you can be reflective, you have time to reflect. If you have a safe place and shelter that you can be reflective, then you have to reflect. But if you don't have that,
this is true. This is
true. Many. There's tens of thousands of students, if I'm not mistaken, in Chicago public schools that are homeless. That's a heavy population.
And in Chicago, a number of them were living in, the families were transient living in shelters. And in those shelters, that's where COVID has been more prevalent. Yeah. And some of them have been forced out of those shelters. So one, they were already homeless, and now they've been kicked out of the shelter that they were living in. And that's, I just can't even imagine how they're making it.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's why, big ups to our giant of a mayor, Lori Lightfoot. She has her hands full, and she's doing everything she can to, one, keep the people safe, keep the people thinking, hey guys, you guys got to be mindful. These house parties and this other stuff, just the spread of this disease, a lot of this stuff can be prevented. So we have to do our part, and then the community has to do its part. We can't rely just on the churches. The churches are not big enough, nor powerful enough anymore, that we can rely on them alone. But we need to, what we got to go back to is that Black consciousness or Hispanic consciousness or whatever. But since we're talking to Black people, when we looked out for ourselves, we were okay. When we stopped looking out for ourselves, we became what we are right now.
I agree with you 100%. Look, brother, that's a whole nother show about just
that too. Right?
You moving to the south side of Chicago is one show, and the fact that we as Black folks not taking care of each other is another show. You get what I'm saying? Yes, I agree with you 100% on that. I really do. All right, gentlemen, I want to continue to move on with our show tonight because we have yet Far more to talk about. I want to remind everybody to make sure you tune into the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show. Remember, this show is seen on 3 different social media platforms. The first platform is the Real Chat Daddy Show on Facebook. Go to that page, like the page. You can leave pictures, comments. If you have show suggestions and ideas, you can leave it on that page, and I'll get back to you guys. Also, you can view this show at at Art Chat Daddy Sims. I was getting to get ahead of myself. Art Chat Daddy Sims. You can go to that page, and if you're a friend and a follower on my Art Sims page, you can always go there. I ask that you guys please start a watch party. The more people I get watching this, the more the social media platforms are paying attention to this show, because I'm getting response from them saying what a great show. So I do need to build the numbers up for this show, and you guys can help with that. Also, we're on YouTube. All you have to do is go to YouTube, like the Real Chat Daddy Show. Subscribe right there on YouTube. Easy, simple. Help me get those numbers up. And then don't forget my website, which is therealchatdaddy.com, therealchatdaddy.com. Rain, sleet, snow, flood, whatever the case may be, I guarantee y'all I'm gonna be here, because guess what? I'm at home. I'm at home. Yeah, in the green room. So yeah, I'll be here. You know what I'm saying? So we'll keep this show going. My very special guest co-host tonight is my good friend, Dr. Phillip Montgomery. Recently became a doctor. Yay. We're so
Yay.
proud of him.
Wait, we got Dr. Phil.
Yes, yes, I do. Look, I got me a doctor now. Yeah. And my other dear friend, Mr. Dwayne Bryant, is here, and we just love him as well too. So don't forget, you guys, go to all those pages, do what you need to do. Now, coming up on the Tuesday night edition of the Real Chat Daddy Show, all the way from the new Hollywood of the South. Do you guys know what the new Hollywood of the South is?
Atlanta, Georgia.
Atlanta, Georgia, hot Atlanta. My good
Yes.
friend Susan Reed will be here with us tomorrow night. Susan has been working on some of the biggest productions in film and television out of Atlanta, and so she'll be here tomorrow night to be our co-host to talk gossip and entertainment.
Oh,
And
wow.
then our favorite doctor, Dr. Janet Seabrook, is back tomorrow night, and Dr. Janet Seabrook will give us a COVID-19 update, including the fact that she has been doing testing at her community health centers over in Gary to help the people of Gary, Indiana with testing. And then last but not least, from the Food Network show Cutthroat Kitchen, Chef Lavatino Harris will join us tomorrow night to talk about barbecuing,
Oh,
how to buy the best meat on a budget,
all
because
right.
we're experiencing a meat shortage, and you on a budget now. And then he'll talk about wonderful side dishes for your Memorial Day weekend. Can you believe this is Memorial Day, guys? This is Memorial Day weekend coming up, like
What a
Monday is
year.
a holiday, right? This is
Time
2020 has been a mess,
Jeez.
right?
And moving quickly.
Yeah.
And moving quickly. All right. Well, our last segment tonight is presented by our wonderful guest, Mr. Dwayne Bryant. Dwayne has a really impressive resume of just being a stellar businessman. But what I like about Dwayne more than anything, he's a person of great character and has a great heart. And so Dwayne is now going to talk to us about e-learning and where the future of e-learning will be going. Dwayne, so glad to have you here. Go right ahead.
Yes, sir. First of all, let me say that every school district in the world has been impacted by COVID-19. Every school district that is proactive and is planning ahead, they know that come in the fall, students may not be back to school like they were when you having 25 students in the classroom. It may only be 15. Some students may come to school 2 days a week. Some may come 3 days a week. The other may have to do schooling or remote learning. So that means that this industry of online learning is not going anywhere. It's going to continue to grow, because now that a lot of students are home, what I'm hearing, because I have schools here in Florida as well as in Chicago, where I do Zoom meetings. I send them our e-learning with DB videos, and then we do interactive content lessons on bullying and conflict resolution, etc. And a lot of the students now, in terms of academics, they're rejecting the academics because they don't want to hear that no more. They're like, listen, do you even care about me? Do you even care what I'm going through? My grandma died, and you talk about turning this math homework. So if we're not talking about social emotional learning, if we're not talking about social literacy to help young people become better individuals and human beings, to know how to get along with people, to know how to navigate their environment and their community and reach success and reach their destiny, to know how to navigate a police stop and not let a 20-minute encounter derail 20 years of their life. So if we're not teaching these young people these type of skills, we're wasting time, we're blowing smoke, and we're giving concepts that they may not ever use. So e-learning, this is what we're doing. And I'm going to shoot a big shout out to Dr. Blondine Y. Davis in Madison School District 162, who used to be the Chief Education Officer in Chicago Public Schools. She's the first district that said, DB, listen, I know what you did in Chicago. I know what you did out here for 10 years. Now we need to re-engage with you to develop e-learning content. So when COVID hit, how open and honest you want me to be, Art?
And look, on my show, we tell it like it is.
That's right.
We don't sugarcoat it. Look, ain't nobody paying for this. Not like that. You know what I'm saying? I ain't got to adhere to nobody. As long as you don't get the YouTube people to kick me off. But let's tell it like it is.
No, none of that. You know me.
Tell it like it is. That's what helps me.
So from March 16th through May the 19th, in terms of business and speaking engagements, I have had to forego $85,000 in revenues from different engagements where I'm always on plane that were completely canceled. The first week when COVID hit, I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? Because I had no digital content. One of my students called Dakari. This was a brother that I mentored since 5th grade. He's now graduated college. He just got his own cooking show in New Orleans, so I'm gonna throw a big shout out to him. He called me and said, Mr. B, what are you doing right now? I said, dude, I'm just trying to figure it out. He said, man, you ain't got no time to be figuring nothing out. Didn't you tell us that when times get tough, you got to get going? And I'm like, whoa. So the seed that I planted years ago had come back to nurture and fertilize me. And he said, you got to start creating content, the same stuff you've been doing for us for the last 20-some years. You need to create that content and get it digital. I said, the hell? What am I going to do? Sit around and walk around with my iPhone, talk about, hey, kids, this is Mr. Rogers. And then so he said, you the urban Mr. Rogers. And another student of mine, Tavares Johnson, who also I mentored since 4th grade, senior at Columbia College Film School. He said, Mr. Bryant, what are you doing right now? I said, bro, I don't know what I'm doing right now. He said, I'm going to pack my camera. I'm going to pack my editing equipment up. I'm going to pack my computer, and I'm coming to Delray Beach, Florida. I said, what we're going to do? He said, we getting ready to create digital content. So if I may, Art, I'm trying to see if I can share your screen. Can I borrow your screen for a second?
You sure can. Go right ahead.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to share your screen, and I'm getting ready to show you and your entire audience. Can you see my screen?
I can't. So now I wonder how we do that on here. Let me see if I have to do it.
Let's see.
I can't see. No, now wait a minute. Let me see. Hold on. We trying to learn all this. Let me see if I share my screen. What'll happen? No.
Is there anything that says presenter?
Yeah, I see something on the bottom. It says share screen. So let me hit that again. Then it says screen sharing is easy with 2 monitors. Screen sharing works best on a good computer. They're not showing me tips again. Some screens let you share audio. Look for the share screen. Let me click that.
Look, y'all can tell this is a ghetto show. We trying to figure out how to do that. It's a good ghetto show.
No. I got you. Watch this.
Okay, wait, look, y'all know this is a good ghetto show, right? Because you learning something. Wait, okay, here we go. Now, wait, all right. Wait, okay, look. Hold
here
on.
Here comes,
look.
See,
wait, hold on. We trying to figure it out on the ghetto show. Hold on. Okay, did it? Wait, let's see.
Can you see my screen?
I can, but I'm trying to figure out how to add you on here. Let me see. Look, we figured it. Look, we got time. Okay. All right, let me see. Add to stream.
Yep.
All right, let's see. But now, oh yeah, there you are. Yay.
All
Okay,
right.
all right. So you got me now?
Got you.
All right,
Hey,
so check.
pause for the wait. Give it up for the Art Chat Daddy Sim show figuring some mess out mid show. Yay! All right, go ahead. We
All right,
ready.
so literally in the last 7 to 8 weeks, we have transformed and pivoted my organization from only providing direct services to now e-learning content. So right here, we're going to click on e-learning with DB after we go to the website, DwayneBryant.com. All right, so we're clicking on e-learning. So when you get here, we want to unlock your children and your students' unlimited potential. Because according to the CDC, Center for Disease Control, most parents spend less than 10 minutes a day talking to their children. That's why so many parents catching hell right now, because they've been blaming the teachers for their bad behind kids. No, it was the parents' fault because they didn't raise them well, because they rejected the knowledge and the information they got from their own parents. So now we're going to keep it real. I'm going to piss some people off, and that's just how it's going to be.
Well, you were honest.
Absolutely.
Tell it, brother. Tell it.
That's right.
So what we've done is, this is e-learning with DB 1.0. So this is the new urban Mr. Rogers. So what we believe that students have to do during this time, they have to maximize their time. They can't be wasting time on chit chat or Snapchat and all these TikTok apps and all this crazy stuff that they're doing. And parents have to ensure that their students, their children are spending some of their time productively. So we have time management, we have goal setting, we have bullying education, we have conflict resolution, we got gun violence. And my mama called in one session and we just let it roll and had a whole conversation with her, found out how she was raised, her daddy left her, which created the reason why she raised us so hard and was so difficult and so tough on us as boys, and we gotta be responsible men. So anyway, let's go to, you choose one. Dr. Phil, you choose the topic.
I like the one, gun violence.
Gun violence, okay. All right, we'll choose gun violence. Now, gun violence only has one video on gun violence. The other one has 4 and 5. So what we have here is when you come here, conversation. So we talked about conflict resolution. So remember, it's a home studio. And oftentimes, if we don't resolve conflicts properly and the cyberbullying gets out of hand, it leads to the next conversation that we're about to have, and that's gun violence. I realized that I would be irresponsible knowing that as a developed nation, America has one of the highest incidents of gun violence in the world for developed nations. So not to talk about that, to me, would be irresponsible. So what I want to do is invite you to a conversation on gun violence. I want to do is just share some stats, share some information with you. Every 3 hours in the US, a youth under 20 is killed by a gun. And that is information from the CDC a few years ago that actually may be even worse now. Let's take a look at some of these stats. Every year, over 36,000 Americans are killed by a gun. Many people say guns don't kill people. People do. However you want to look at it, there was a bullet that came out of the chamber of a gun. Oh, see, I forgot to show y'all. So we're not giving away this content. So what you just saw there is like a snippet. So what we're looking to do is partner with school districts, with faith-based organizations, with organizations around the nation, and we're starting to get some online where we're able to share this content with schools, with municipalities, so that they can have the full video. So let me see. Let's go to conflict resolution 4. Let's see what we got here.
Dwayne, I just want to say this. You have elevated my show to like World News Tonight level.
Yeah,
like, look, it's 3 black men on the screen and a video playing at the same time. My tip jar gonna run us over after this show. Thank you, brother. My tip jar gonna really run us over. We done took this to a whole World News Tonight level.
Well, listen, let me tell you, brother, COVID, God bless the people who did not fare well in terms of health. But I tell people, for the last 23 and a half years, I've been practicing for the last 7 weeks. And that's how serious this is. People like you who've been doing the work, who've had integrity, who've had discipline, and who've been doing the work even without the funds being there, because we never gave up on our goals, our dreams, our hopes, our desires, our purpose, and our mission in life. This epidemic, this pandemic has caused us now to be able to shine like we're supposed to be. And the brother who cut this, who shot the video, he's a young brother, man, who is also a Black guy. So let me show you this one right here, because I want you to see this one.
Okay.
Now let's talk about verbal abuse for a little bit. A lot of times people say, well, I didn't hit you, or I never put my hands on you. But sometimes putting your mouth on someone can be even more harmful. If you grew up in a home that is very confrontational, that is very demeaning, that is very critical, then everybody has to be very mindful of how people that you may be verbally abusive and not even know it. So we got to be very careful. How you grow up has a huge impact of the things that you say and the things that you do. Let's take a look at it now. Boom! You heard that? Yeah. So we're teaching I want to show you this one more on conflict resolution. You still with me?
We still here.
Yeah, we're still here. We're still here. Wait. Let me put you back.
You said pause it.
Keep going.
Okay, keep going. Okay. All right. So let's go to the board. What is conflict? Conflict is simply a disagreement between one or more persons that lead to a state of disharmony. Now, notice I put one or more persons. My students say, well, Mr. Bryant, why do you say one or more persons? Shouldn't it be two or more persons? And I say, absolutely not, because the reality is you can have a conflict within yourself. Many days there's things that you say you're not going to do, and you do it anyway. Or there's conversations or people that you say you're not going to deal with, and guess what? As soon as they call, as soon as they show up, you're hanging out with them all over again. And then you get upset with yourself. Guess what that is? That is conflict, right? Conflict is usually a very common part of relationships, and therefore may arise in your daily lives. So conflict is a natural part of relationships, but the key is learning how to deal. Boom. Okay, I'm getting ready to unshare. Wow. I'm getting ready to unshare and come on back. So we have on the website, if you look at it, we have a media kit. We have videos embedded in the media kit. What we want to do is create ambassadors for e-learning with DB ambassadors, where parents can say, yo, why don't we have this in our school? We got a whole summer coming up, and who's talking to our young people? So, man, how do I unshare? Let me figure out how to unshare this screen.
No, you good. You good.
Yeah,
It's just the three of us. You done. We see how impressive that is. Phillip, you know, I was telling you as well as I was telling Dwayne that I am taking sign language now via the World Wide Web. And then I just recently was I'm being talked into taking Mandarin Chinese, and that would be via the web. I never in a million years, I used to tell you guys, I dreamed of being on the Jetsons or living during a time of the Jetsons, but here we are living where I'm, continuing my education now via the web, and I'm learning global things. So it's interesting. What do you think about all of this e-learning, Phillip?
I think it's amazing. I teach in a university, and I think when this whole thing hit, the young people are out at spring break, and the decision for them not to come back, I didn't understand it at first because I'm like, oh my God, how's this going to work? And this little camera and a laptop has allowed me to still be connected to the students. And it's helped them see me. It's helped me see them, because a lot of what would be missing if it was just virtual slides passing by is that interaction and that relationship building that takes place between the instructor and the students. So when you can put it all together and you can offer the content and you can offer the individual, I think for many going forward, for at least for the near future, it's going to be an incredible thing, because like you said, I don't see all 30 kids coming back to a first grade classroom for some time.
No.
And what else did you have to say about that, DB? Because I mean, you are on the cutting edge of this,
He
my
really
friend. You
is.
are. I mean, you really did. And the funniest thing was, you and I talked the day this all went down. And you said to me, you said, "Listen, brother, we gonna both breathe. We gonna both keep moving. And look at how we both turned our situations around." What else are you trying to add with this tonight?
Well, I would say, well, if I may, I want the individual. I saw Criteria Towns on your show. She's a executive administrator with Chicago Public Schools. I want Chicago to really understand that there may be a few other companies out here doing e-learning, but none of them are doing it the way I'm doing it, because I have 23 and a half years on the ground with our kids, having conversation with our kids. The curriculum that we've developed, social emotional learning, evidence-based, is based on conversation I've had with our kids. So at first, when we first started, right, I typed up a little script and I was like, this ain't working for me. And then so he said, just throw the script down and just go. And so when I started flowing, I literally felt the spirit of my kids in the room. So I'm having conversations with them like, I know what you're going to say. So I'm now engaging the camera. So they sit at home like, dude, he talking to me. I want them to know. And I even said at one time, I said, raise your hand if, I'm like, wait a minute, why is my hand the only one raised? I know y'all think I'm on this camera, but I'm in that living room with you right now because I'm your teacher, e-learning right here with you. So don't sit here and watch this and eat popcorn. No, you got to get engaged because this is your life we're talking about. And so as I'm going through the workshops, going through the curriculum, going through the handouts, this is one of the best ways that I've seen to engage our students. It can't be that boring, lame junk that was created in Wisconsin and Iowa and Idaho, and we put some black pictures on it, and we say this is an urban curriculum. No, that ain't gonna work.
Exactly.
Right. Reject that junk. And these school districts need to get serious, spend some money with a black business, certified with the city of Chicago, certified BEP Business Enterprise Program with the state of Illinois. So it's time, man. Hey, that whole revenue switch that the Bible talks about, it's time, bro.
But you're going to see the change. You will benefit tremendously because in the beginning, they're not going to know what to do, and they're not going to know how to keep and engage with these young people.
Yep.
That sort of content is what our young people need. And like you said, you weren't teaching, you were flowing. It was like you were an artist. So you were delivering a message that came right through you.
Man, thank you, Dr. Phil. I got a Dr. Phil going in art.
Right. Look, I got to keep my show relevant. I got to keep people that are like-ish. He's not quite Dr. Phil, but he all Dr. Phil. He all black Dr. Phil. So, I have to, I may not be able to get Oprah, but I might eventually book Oprah on the
never
show.
know.
Right. You just never know. In closing, Dwayne, give everybody how they can find you, follow you, all that great stuff.
Sure. They can find me at DwayneBryant.com, DWAYNE BRYANT. You can see the whole e-learning with DB platform. If you're on Facebook, Dwayne Bryant, DWAYNE BRYANT. If you're on Instagram, I am Dwayne Bryant. If you're on Twitter, I don't tweet because no. Or I don't know what
see, that's Twitter and sign language. That's Twitter and sign language. Yeah.
I don't do Snapchat and I'm too old for that kind of stuff. So it's pretty much Instagram, Facebook, or the website. But man, I'm focused on this business right now because I'm going after my children, my young people, and my community.
Exactly. You are the everyday mentor.
Yep.
You may not live next door, but you're down there working for us and working for these kids.
They can take that e-learning with DB on their cell phones. They can take it on their iPad, wherever they go. They can have these conversations, and parents can continue the conversation. Teachers can continue the conversation. We're working on pre-assessments, post-assessments, so schools can get data analytics. We're working on manuals for teachers to be able to train this content in their schools, and we don't even have to show up. So,
what grades are you working with? What are you?
4th grade through 12th grade.
All right, there you go.
All right, well, DB, we're gonna sign off in just a little bit. Don't go anywhere. Phillip, would you like to recap the evening, sir?
It was an amazing evening. A lot of time spent learning to understand how we as men, Black men in our community, can give back and support other young Black males in our community, help our youth grow, prosper, and become successful leaders in the future. We talked a little bit about our topics of the day, like the unfortunate flooding throughout the city of Chicago, our continued struggles with COVID-19. But again, it was an amazing show, and thank you, Art, for inviting me to be your co-host.
Yay! Great job, Dwayne Bryant. Great job, Phillip. Oh, I love you guys. I do, because you really like my brothers. I really, really do. And gentlemen, you know what I've been reminding people time and time again. We are currently living in what I consider to be Matthew 2016. Matthew 2016 is where we are right now. And I've been saying this all along. Those that were last will now be
Be
first.
first. Ooh.
There is a turn and a shift for those to really get out there and make themselves be superstars, because they've been denied by so many people in the past. So I just appreciate you guys. Did I do it right?
You did it right.
And the first shall be last, for
Last.
midnight call for the future.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me?
Yes.
Do you hear me? Do you hear me? I got up this morning and that was on my spirit. You get what I'm saying? And that's on my spirit every day, because we have been living in a world where we have been abused and done injustice for so long that now at this pivot in the world, we've got to learn to do what's necessary and continue to move forward. We do. We really do. Well, I thank you, gentlemen, both, for being extraordinary guests on tonight's show. It's been good tonight. It really has. I just want to remind everybody to stay safe, do the right things, be healthy, you guys. Wash your hands, no coughing and sneezing. You know you must wear your mask in public settings. Do what's necessary to stay safe, stay healthy. Tomorrow night, another great show. Our co-host tomorrow night, Susan Reed. She is just absolutely wonderful in many different ways, and she'll talk to us about the new Hollywood of the South. What else we got going on? That's it. So here's what I need for you guys to do. Go to therealchatdaddy.com. Again, that's therealchatdaddy.com. That's my website. Also, don't forget to start a watch party. You can always share this or watch the encore performance on any of my Facebook pages. The Real Chat Daddy Show, Art Chat Daddy Sims, or either Art Sims. Don't forget to go on over to YouTube, you guys. If you go over there to YouTube, you are able to subscribe to this show, and each and every night you'll be reminded that this show is on the air and how you can be a part of this show and do all the things that are necessary. Thank you to everybody on Facebook tonight who loves and adores the show. I love you guys. I really, really do. On behalf of Dwayne Bryant, all the way over there, that's where you do that. Phillip Montgomery sitting in the middle. It looks great to see Black men smiling.
I know, right? I get so tired of brothers mean mugging.
I know. Okay, so Dwayne, 3 shows. Why did you move your behind on the south side of Chicago? Why Black folks do each other the way we do, and why do Black men not want to smile? So right there, 3 shows in the month of June. Three shows in the month of June that we need to have and talk about. I love you guys so very much. God bless you all.
You too.
Stay safe. Tomorrow night, the Real Chat Daddy Show, 7 p.m. Have a great night, you guys. Good night.
Bye. Bye.
Share your show. I can share your show on my Facebook.
You can, and tip Chat Daddy, you guys. Chat Daddy on Cash App. Good night. I love you guys. You can share it. Good night.